I'm going to deliver this message to you in the same exact way that my therapist delivered it to me. The fact that you can so easily cut off friends or cut off people that come into your life because they do something that you don't like is not because you have really strong boundaries. It's because you lack the communication skills to have uncomfortable conversations. It's because you lack the ability to be vulnerable enough to tell someone that you're hurt and you're in pain. Because you would rather drive out of ego than vulnerability. It's not the flex that you think it is.
Listen, I don't know about y'all, but it is something so beautiful about disappearing on people who did not appreciate you and giving them no explanation. Don't worry why I'm gone, bitch.
Hey, welcome to Let's Glow with Nini. I'm Nini, and let's get straight into this video.
And if I cut you off, it is for life. This is not a drill, and I am not acting. Although I am quite the actress, but I am not kidding. I will never talk to you again. You won't hear from me. You don't even gotta block me, because you won't hear from me. Because I'm not gonna be able to unsee the disrespect. And I'm not talking about little things. I'm talking about when you are putting my core values in jeopardy and you are crossing my non-negotiables. But also, if I keep you around, all I'm gonna do is treat you how I feel, like shit. And that's me being transparent. I will make you feel it. My presence is going to make you feel it. And it's just like, for that, I could just cut you off. So yeah, I'm not rekindling anything. And yeah, the answer is no.
I'm a huge advocate of silent cutoffs, and I love cutting people off silently because here's the thing. A lot of people have misconceptions about people who cut them off silently, and they're like, oh, they could have just communicated. They lack communication skills. They're not mature. They're so immature. They could have handled this properly, blah, blah, blah. But it's like people who get cut off silently don't realize that the reason why they get cut off silently is because the person who cut them off actually has such excellent communication skills that they did the mental calculation in their head of exactly what they were going to say to you, and they decided it's not even worth their time because you lack self-awareness. And there's no point in communicating with someone who lacks self-awareness, because when you communicate with that person who lacks self-awareness, they automatically get defensive and they deflect. Instead of hearing what you're saying to them, interpreting it, processing it, and then changing their behavior, they are simply going to dismiss you or tell you that they didn't have those intentions and they didn't mean to do this thing in this way. Or they're going to gaslight you and be like, no, that's not what happened. You're remembering things differently. This is how I see it from my perspective. And they're going to flip the script on you. But besides lacking self-awareness, majority of the reason why I cut people off silently is because they did something that showed me their true character. And I'm not someone who's going to sit here and teach someone else how to have better character or how to have better morals. I'm sorry, that was your parents' responsibility. And if your parents didn't do that, it's not my responsibility as a friend to suffer and to be hurt in order for you to learn basic human decency and learn how to treat people and learn consideration and learn how to take accountability and learn how to think about how your words and actions affect other people. I didn't give birth to any children, so unfortunately, I will not be taking on that role. I will simply dismiss you as a friend from my life and go find somebody who already has better character and better morals, or just be by myself because I'm totally comfortable hanging out by myself and I like myself and myself doesn't violate myself. So why would I prioritize the company of someone who violates me over being in isolation knowing I don't violate myself? And the funniest part about this is that the people who know they're guilty, the people who know they violated you, will absolutely be the loudest once you silently cut them off. Which further proves why I should cut you off silently, because I know that if I were to communicate, I would get gaslit, I would get dismissed, it would turn into a whole deal. I would eventually be like, okay, you know what? I'm sorry I even said anything. It's not that big of a deal. Don't worry about it. And I don't want to be that person. I don't need to be that person because I don't need to have friends, especially friends who are not going to consider how their words and actions affect me. So go ahead, yell about it, scream it into the mountaintops, tell everyone how terrible of a person I am because I cut you off silently. I don't care. At the end of the day, whatever story you make up has absolutely nothing to do with me because I'm not even talking to you anymore. So why would I care? I'm just at that point in my life where I really don't need people around me who I'm gonna have to babysit. I'm gonna have to teach basic things to. I'm gonna have to be a mother figure to. Those are the types of people who are A, always gonna play victim, and B, always gonna drag you into some sort of mess and not take accountability for it, and C, never actually be there for you when you need them for anything, but they will expect you to be there for them every time they need you for something. These are very particular characteristics. Like, I don't cut everybody off who violates me. But if I see these characteristics and you violate me, you get silently cut off. Because you're just not worth my time, quite honestly.
I always know when I made the right decision by cutting somebody off based on how they react after I cut them off. If you immediately go around trying to get people to be on your side or hear your side of the story or overall vilify me to other people, that will be the confirmation and the reassurance I needed in the first place to understand that I made the right decision by cutting you off. Because why was it your first call to action to bash me? Why was it your first call to action to kick my back door in? Like, why was it the first thing that you chose to do by defaming my character? And oftentimes they'll tell people a certain hazed side of the story to make you look like the villain, to make them look like the hero. And honestly, I'm at that point in life where it's like, please tell them that. Because a lot of times people will go with what they're told because it coincides with the image that they have in their head of you already. And I feel like these situations are actually so clarifying and provide you with a lot of clarity in your life, because anybody that chooses to take their side on a matter that they have never even reached out to you to hear your side of the story on is usually just a hater. Things that they were told were very on brand for what they already thought about you, so they chose to go with their story because they thought that that was on brand for you. And unfortunately, I don't need anybody around me that thinks poorly of me in that manner. So respectfully, you and them can get out.
Have you ever cut somebody off and immediately your life started improving? Skin started clearing up.
I've said this before and I'll say it again. You have to pay attention to the trajectory of your life once you cut somebody off. If you cut somebody off and immediately your life starts getting better, that is a clear indicator that that person is not meant to be in your life. God cannot bless us when we are in the wrong environments, meaning 1, we're in the wrong places, and 2, we are surrounded by the wrong people. Imagine God blessing you with your husband and your best friend sleep with married men. I am a firm believer that if you truly want everything that God intends for you to have in this life, you have to be surrounded by the right people.
The season of cutting everybody off, and it's not because I want to, or it's not something that I have intended to do. I realize that some of the people that I've met along this journey or in the past couple of years of my life, I have met these people when I was an unhealed or unhealthy version of myself. So now all of these people treat me as if I'm still unhealed and unhealthy, and it's like kind of condescending a little bit. So it's like I'm no longer that person. So now I find myself having conversations with people and I'm thinking like, damn, why are you talking to me like that? Or why are you, but it was because I once allowed it, and I was once insecure, or I was once a certain kind of person that I am no longer. So that is why I must get rid of these relationships. They no longer fit into who I am becoming.
You know why it's so easy for those nice people to cut people out of their lives that have been in there for years? It's not because they're cold or calculated or just don't care. It's because 9 times out of 10, they were the dependable one in the group. The person that people knew they can call at all times, that would be there to support them, protect them, and love them genuinely. And whenever they got in a season where they needed an ounce of that reciprocated and it wasn't delivered, they realized, if I cut you out, what am I missing?
How do you guys feel about cutting friends off cold turkey? I truly feel like there's nothing wrong with it. My brain doesn't process the things people do to me right then and there. It takes me a while to be like, oh, you probably don't like me. Like, you're treating me poorly. So when I finally realized that, I don't have anything else to say to you. And like, I don't need an explanation from you. I don't need to explain myself. You understand why I don't speak to you. People have a bad tendency to act a certain way towards you and expect nothing to change in the friendship or the dynamic of the relationship. When I decide to not speak to you anymore, why should I call up the phone and explain to you, hey, this is why I don't want to be your friend? No. Did they explain to you why they were being mean? I'm queen of cutting people off cold turkey. You will never hear from me again, like, ever.
I really don't take it personal when a person decides to cut me off. No, I'm not gonna get bitter, try to throw shade, try to make you out to be someone you're not. I'm not doing none of that. Because the way I operate is that the show will always go on with or without you. I'm gonna thrive and live my life just fine with or without you. Now, would it be nice to have you in my life if you're a great person? Absolutely. Is it gonna hurt for me to see you go if I've grown attached to you? Absolutely. But I'm gonna feel that, process that, and move on, because the show will always go on. One of the hardest lessons that I've learned in life is that you can't hold nobody hostage. Feelings change, people grow apart, whatever it is. This is why you gotta make sure to be your own best friend. Too many people are relying on other people for their sense of peace and security, and that's the problem. Because it's not certain and it's not constant. How you gonna rely on somebody else to feel good about you when they have free will at any given time to walk away from you? You gotta start being there for yourself, man, because if you don't, you're gonna have a long, miserable life. Now, I love you. I'm out here.
People are picky, selective, and quick to cut someone off after the first red flag, not because they think they're superior to you, but because they learned a very important lesson. Associating with the wrong person can significantly alter their life. They've either experienced it themselves or witnessed the people in their life struggle with it, and they would much rather stay out of the mix to preserve their mental and physical health. No, they don't think they're better than anyone. They're not stuck up or bougie. They simply value themselves and their peace, choosing to associate with those who align with their character. If you do not align with their character, they will not be open to hanging out with you or anything of that sort. It is not personal. It's a protective measure.
If your life starts to get better when you cut somebody out of your life, don't go back. It don't always got to be bad reasons. It just might be the energy. You might be in the way of somebody else's karma, what they dealing with. You don't know what they doing when they behind your back, and God may be protecting you. You never know. So when you remove somebody from your life and all your blessings start rolling in, and then you let them back in your life and everything just slow down, trust me, that's a sign from God that that person ain't meant to be in your life. That don't mean you don't love them. That don't mean that the history of which I had ain't valid. It just means right now, it cannot go. You never know what's going on. That person might be willing to sink a hole in your ship. They may not want to see you go far. Maybe they just ain't at the altitude to go no more. They were supposed to stop right there. So when you remove somebody from your life, be open to growth and to live life without them, because something that you don't want to mess up is all those good things that's going on. So that's all the proof you need. When your life get better, when you leave somebody alone, leave them over there.
Millennials have really become the generation of cutting off family, cutting off parents, cutting off friends, and I'll tell you why. We grew up in a generation where we were told if a person was in authority, if they were above you, if they were an elder, if they were older than you, if they were a parent, if they were a grandparent, if they were a teacher, if they were whoever, you had to respect them because they were your elder and they were in a place of authority. However, most of the people in the generation before us used that authority in all the wrong ways. They used it to control and manipulate us instead of helping us grow and teaching us things that we actually needed to know in the real world. We also grew up in a generation that watched the world change. We watched the internet come. We watched 9/11 happen. We watched wars start. We now went through COVID. We've been through a lot of shit. And most of us realize now that while we were going through that life-changing shit, the people that were supposed to have our backs and the people that we were supposed to be able to lean on weren't there. The people that are saying, oh, all we tried to do was raise you right and all we tried to do was make sure you could be a good functioning adult in the real world. No, all you did was give us trauma and send us on our way. And let me give you a hint. If we're cutting you out of our lives, it's not because of us. It's because we now have kids of our own. And we'll be damned if we let you do the same thing to them. Food for thought.
And one thing about me, I'll cut you off for what I see you doing to other people that's in close range to you. I don't care how close you is with that person. If I see you doing some real grimy stuff, like trying to play it with her and sleep with her man, bitch, you're getting cut off. Because what makes me so special? Like, you're not going to do the same thing for me. And that been a lot of reasons why I be just distancing myself from people. Because I be seeing how y'all handle other people. And I would never disqualify myself from those horrible actions.
I'm not saying this as a flex, but the way that I disassociate myself with the people, friendships, relationships, jobs, when I've hit like I think it's unhealthy, honestly. Like, sometimes when I think about it, I'm like, honestly, I'm glad that I have the ability to walk away, you know, the first time I see a red flag or I have uncertainty about something, because I mean, there's people that don't, they're not able to do that. You know what I mean? But I am. You don't gotta tell me twice. One time and I'm out. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't play like that. But in the same breath, I'm just like, I sometimes I wish I was a little bit more lenient and I had a little bit more tolerance. You know, it's bittersweet. But I feel like I'm so cut and dry. Like, literally one wrong move and you're cut off. And this is for friendships, relationships, family. I do not care. I have such a low tolerance for bullshit. Like, it's not cute. Like, I'm not like, oh, girl, I'll cut you. It's not a flex. I'm not trying to say this as a flex. It's just something that I'm coming to terms with and I'm very aware of. And I'm like, I don't quite like that about myself, but I don't really know how to turn it off. Like, I don't know. I just feel like I do not play. Like, I don't play about me. You understand what I'm saying? Like, if you want to play with you, but I don't play about me. And I can only control, you know, the things that are within my realm. And cutting people off the first time they got me fucked up is within my control. And I do that by any means necessary. Blocking, my favorite thing to do in the entire world. I live for a block. Literally. Like, I literally just blocked my dad like 2 weeks ago. One wrong move, you out. My motto is block and delete, rinse and repeat. It's just that easy. And I don't know. I try to think about like, I don't even know when I got like this. But like, when I tell you that the way that I can remove myself from a friendship, it's concerning. 13 years and I will cut you off tomorrow like it's nothing. Yeah, I don't know. I'm like, is this healthy? Is this safe? Is this a good thing? Because I don't feel like it is. I feel like people deserve second chances. People deserve the opportunity for redemption. But I just don't believe in it. You know? I don't know. I'm like, is it just me? Is this like there has to be somebody else that feels this same way. They act this same way. And not that is like not that is like an excuse for my behavior, but I'm like, I know I can't be alone, you know? I don't know. Like, honestly, I'm just yapping, but my ability to disassociate myself and remove myself, babe, I can go in the world's Guinness World, whatever that damn book is called. Promise you. Don't play with me.
Why are you allowing this man to live rent-free in the attic of your brain? Welcome to the Daddy Academy. Ladies, I don't know what the fuck is going on. I don't know if there's something in the air. I don't know if it's the seasons changing. But like, I'm hearing stories that are deeply, deeply concerning me. Some of you might just have to go skip daddy detention. Let's put you in jail with a straitjacket and you shouldn't be able to have a phone. Cut the situationship off. Cut it off. Cut it off. This guy isn't treating you well. He's never going to change. It's something casual. He's just using you to go to Bangtown, USA once every few weeks. And you're saying to yourself, oh, he's going to change. Or I'm cool with the casual for now. I'm cool while I'm still out there dating. No, you're not. You're not cool with the casual for now because you deep down, you think he's going to change. Motherfuckers don't change. Okay? Motherfuckers don't change. Dogs don't change. You can't teach an old dog new tricks. I've heard this a lot too. Oh, Nico, should I just ghost him? Should I ghost him? No, you shouldn't ghost him. You should send him a text saying that this relationship is no longer working for me. I love getting to know you. I wish you all the best, but I don't think we should talk anymore. See you around. End it. Slam the door closed. Shut the door, okay? Until you shut the door, it's still fucking open because if you ghost him, he doesn't care. You think he cares that he ghosts you? He's going to go, haha, she ghosted me, haha. And then a month later, he'll hit you up or he'll invite you to some cool party. You'll go because you'll be like, oh, well, you know, we had things going on and he might have changed now. He's not going to change. It's going to be the same shit. And when you have somebody living rent-free in the attic of your brain like this, it's subconsciously holding you back from finding the right person for you. So if this has gone long enough, it's time to cut it off. It is time to cut him off. Okay, don't make me do another little seance and do a little Reiki healing. I'm going to have to do that. I know I'm going to have to do that because we have to fucking fix what's going on here. But it's up to you. Send the text, cut him off, you're done.
So I lost my best friend today. To be very clear, I was cut off by one of my closest friends. Things are really hurt. This is the message that he sent me. Pause to read and please read thoroughly. Okay? So I'm going to give some context here. We're talking about my male best friend, the one that y'all saw in my moving video that moved me across the country, the one who took me to my ortho appointment when my arm got broken by my ex, the one who rented me a car when my ex totaled mine, the one who, I could go on and on, but this person held a very, very, very important place in my life, and it is super hurtful the way he went about it, texting me a message and then blocking me on all platforms so that I can't respond, but starting the message with, hey friend. So when I moved here, 3 weeks ago, the week before Thanksgiving, almost 4 weeks ago. He started talking to a new girl. They were talking literally on the way to Dallas. He was talking to her. I even jumped on FaceTime, said hey to her, introduced myself, and basically was like, hey girl, you have nothing to worry about. Like, we are strictly platonic. This is one of my closest friends, like a brother to me. Like, my kids love him. He's been there for me through so many things. She's like, oh, okay, whatever. Again, they had only just started talking 4 weeks ago. Apparently she's uncomfortable with me. Mind you, me and him haven't even spoken in like a week. I could show you those messages. We don't speak every day. But when I was going through the struggle, he was there all the time. But ever since life has calmed down, my shit's together, he dabbles in and out. We check on each other, whatever. So in the message it says, Camila, I guess that's the girl's name, doesn't want us to be friends at all. He wishes me and the boys well. He loves us, whatever. She's not comfortable with how me and his friendship started. So let's dig into that. How did me and him become friends? I was working in a club in Atlanta. It was a restaurant lounge, not even really a club. He came in. I was having a terrible shift. Me and him ended up talking all night. I sat with him. He bought drinks. I helped a few people here and there. He tipped me like $150 at the end of the night, and we were fast friends. From there, we started going hiking. We were doing a bunch of stuff, and he integrated himself into my life. He did like me. I didn't like him. We figured that out very quickly. The feelings were not mutual. We weren't on the same page. We wanted different things, but we really loved who each other was, like at the core. And I wanted him to be one of my friends. He was a great person, just not a partner that I wanted. Vice versa. He felt like I was a great person, a great mother, a great friend. So we literally continued just being friends. We have quite literally slept in the same room in different areas and been completely fine. I can have platonic relationships. Besides that, cutting off your friends for somebody you met 3 weeks ago, to me is a red flag. That's something that my ex would have told me to do. That is a red flag. That is controlling. That is weird. Meanwhile, I've sat here and been your friend through multiple talking stages, multiple little relationships when those girls disappear after a few weeks or whatever. I've been here. And you've come and you've got to cry. You got to vent your frustration. I've been here. I've been supportive of these women, made them feel comfortable. I'm not that girl. I've never been that girl. I've never integrated myself into my male friends' relationships. And when they get into serious relationships, I back up even more. We don't have to be as close as we used to be, but I shouldn't be blocked off of every platform and sent a text message cutting me off is crazy. And I'm blocked. That's his Instagram. Honestly though, when you enter different seasons in life, everybody's not meant to come with you. This has been the season of me losing the most friends at one time. I have basically had to cut off my father. Then there's Rex, and then there was Tia. It's just like all these people that held space in my life in different ways have dissipated. And God works in mysterious ways. God works the way he's going to work. And I ask God to remove everything that was not for me out of my life. And he has done so in a huge capacity and continues to do so. I hate the way that my friend went about this. I have no ill will towards him. I wish him the very best. I know that he deeply wants love and to be loved. And so when people want love that bad, sometimes they do questionable things. This is definitely questionable, but all in all, I'm not angry. I'm genuinely just hurt. I did cry. And that's the funny thing. I don't cry over a man. Like, if I stop talking to a man, I don't cry over it. This was truly my friend. Like, it's so hard, like, when you're losing a friend. Like, that was my actual friend. Like, he was really, really there for me. Never anything more than platonic. Like, was really, really there for me. Like, really there. More than, like, my own brother had ever been there in my life, you know? So, auntie hurt, auntie not mad. And the world keeps spinning.
And sometimes you gotta leave a motherfucker alone because they think you won't. Or they think you can't leave their ass alone. But I'm one of them people, listen, it might take me a long time to leave your ass alone, but fuck around and find out. Because when I'm done, I'm done. And the only reason I was still fucking with you is because I actually fuck with you. But you wasn't fucking with me how I fuck with you, so I had to quit fucking with you. But don't ever think for 1 second that I won't quit fucking with you, because I'll leave a motherfucker alone. It might take me a little while to leave your ass alone, because let's be real, we humans, bruh. And those that say, oh, I can just cut motherfuckers, no, I can, but I really actually love motherfuckers. But when you push me to the point where I gotta cut your ass off, I promise you, the love that I have for you, it'll never be the same. And you will think that I hated your ass the way I feel about you now, because when I fuck with you, you weren't fucking with me how I fuck with you. So you had to fuck around and find out, and I had to show you better than I can tell you. You hear me?